All right, all right. I believe I am all the way live. Should be. All right, let me go back. If y'all can hear me, let me know. All right, check one, microphone check. Good evening. What's going on, John? Hey, let me know if you can hear me, man. All right. All right, everything looks clear. Last night we was all fuzzy, but today we are not fuzzy at all. All right. So, pinned comment up there. If you want to join the live stream and ask your questions, make any comments. Again, we're not bashing anybody, putting people down. None of that kind of stuff. But we're here to try to help people. We're here to try to help you get better and do better in your notary business. So, oh man, oh man, oh man. Yeah, good evening, Cynthia, Ashley, TXB for you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. The missus, she's still at the shop, getting some stuff taken care of there. So she might be viewing and everything. But yeah, she just got some new file cabinets. So she loves being organized, keeping stuff in check. So she's putting all her stuff together for her students and everything. So yesterday was great. What's going on, Tina? Yesterday was great. Had a wonderful time. Thanks to everybody who hopped in and everything. So, like I said, what we're doing tonight, we did it last night, doing it tonight. Spend some time on here and just answer questions. Now, I know y'all got questions, and I would like for y'all to hop in to the live stream because y'all call me all the time and y'all calling other people. So y'all might as well just hop on here. This ain't the time to be shy. This is a safe place. Nobody's going to be attacking you or making you feel bad. You know, like on Facebook, if I see somebody doing that, they're getting booted. Okay. So do not think that you're going to be ridiculed or talked about or put down for asking a question. All right. Because if you're planning on being successful in this business, you're going to have to ask some questions. So one of the things a lot of people was asking about how to go about setting up a business, your business entity. A lot of questions come up about that. There's two main ways. There's two main ways you can do this. Let's see. All right. So let me share my screen with y'all. We're just going to talk about this for a little bit. All right. So there's a couple of different ways that you can start your business. And I'm not going to talk about the sole proprietor. I'm not going to deal with that. That's very simple and easy to do. But a lot of people concerned about how to go about doing a LLC. You can go straight to your state. Like in Virginia, we have the LLC here, the state corporation commission site, and you can get on here and start a business. So you can go in here, start a new business, create a new business, and a lot of times you can, right here, this is the key. This one right over here, check name availability. This is the one that throws a lot of people off because everybody is thinking that their name is unique, and most times it is. But first thing you always want to do, whether you use your state website or you go to a third party, you want to check to see whether or not your name is available. Now, if there's a Virginia notary in here who has not set up an LLC, give me the name, put in the chat the name of the business that you want to use in the state of Virginia, so I can check to see if that name is available. So in this regard, I'm going to use my business name, Griffin Notary Services, and then I'm going to check the name, and it tells me the name entered is not distinguishable, meaning it's not separated. Somebody already has it. And in this case, it tells you who has it, the entity number, and it gives you all the information about the business. Okay. You're a registered agent, all of that, who you got it registered through, your registered agent, that is everything. So it lets you know all of that information. So if you, Kelly, Hanifa, give me a business, type in there a name that you want or you would think to use for your business here in Virginia if you haven't already done it. Oh, I'm sorry. I see Kelly's Mobile Notary. My bad. I got it. All right. Kelly's Mobile Notary. All right. All right. So that tells you the name is available. The name is available. Now, from that standpoint, you can register the name. You can go ahead on and register the name, or you can use a third party to register it. And I'll show you about the third party stuff. That name is available. Okay. So the name is available. So that means you can register that name. As far as I know, there's nobody sitting here watching the site. And then if you check for a name and then they go and register, none of that kind of stuff is happening. So both of those names are available and you can register them, and you can go through the SEC to register it, so the best way to do it is to start off with setting up you an account, make you an account through them, register for an account and everything. And then you can log in to the site and register your name. One of the other things you can do, and I always have a hard time finding it, but once you have your account in there, there is a way that you can actually register a name and just hold it. And that's for $10. And I always forget how to do that. I always forget how to do that. Here it is. Do you have a name reserved? No. So there's a way, and I always, like I said, I forget, but you can reserve a name through, at least in Virginia, you can reserve a name saying, hey, I want this name and I just want to hold on to it until I'm ready to use it. So you can do that. Again, I always forget how to go about doing that and everything. Y'all familiar with Legalzoom? And I don't know how many of y'all are familiar with in corp. And then there's some other parties out there. What's going on, little lady?
How you doing? Can you hear me?
I don't hear you yet.
You don't? All right, hold on. Damn, what is going on? Mm,
So Incorp is one of the ones I use. I use Incorp because one, they was cheaper, and two, they didn't try to upsell me on a bunch of stuff like LegalZoom. So I used LegalZoom a while back to do my dad's will. So my dad's will was done through LegalZoom, did a great job. But when it came to the business side of it, had them fees at that time were just a little too much for me. So I didn't really mess with them. But you can register for $99 depending on whatever state it is, or at least starting. I'm sorry, starting at $99. So starting at $99, you can register. You create your an account and all of that through them. And then let's just say, no, you're a new customer. And through here, you go through the whole process of setting up your account. You can also call them and they can help you out and everything. Let me add Twiggy in here. And you go through and they got the little bubbles to explain to you what these different things mean. And if you get confused on anything, you can always reach out to them. Same thing with LegalZoom. You go through here, business formation. I guess theirs is a little cheaper, starting at $79. I guess they got smart and dropped their fees and everything. So
Griff, you really
I
can't
guess
hear
they
me?
have the ability to check. All right. So into the state, Virginia, and then search. All right. That's optional. Do you want to start your
Hello?
business? We'll just say in the next month or two. All right. Okay. Oh, goodness. And see, like for me, I don't like all this. This is a little too much, And don't worry, lady, I'm not registering you. All right. And so all right, so then it's telling you all the stuff. Now, one of the things you can see here, and one of the things you see here is this EIN. The EIN you can get for free. You do not have to pay somebody 70 some bucks to get an EIN. To get the EIN, you go to the IRS and you can apply. I don't know why I did it that way. And then you can apply for EIN. And I think most people understand that you can apply for EIN on the IRS site for free. Now, I'm explaining all of this to you because, in my opinion, what I've seen after doing 4 different businesses, there's a process, there's a particular way. And I'm going to get to y'all, Twiggy and Yolanda. I always suggest checking with the state corporation commission to see if the name is available. If the name is available, you register the name. Once you get confirmation that the name is registered, then you get the EIN. The reason why, because if you register the EIN first in your name, and that name is already taken at the state level, you're going to have to get a new EIN or have them modify that one or whatever the case may be. So in my opinion, I think you need to make sure you can register that name first. Once the name is registered, then, sorry about that, then you can go and get the EIN. Once you have the EIN, because you have your corporation paperwork, whether you get it through Incorp, LegalZoom, or directly from the state, you had your corporation paperwork, you get your EIN, and then from there, you go and take that. And if you are required to have a county or city business license, you do what? You go get your county or city business license. That's what you do. You go and get that, and you're going to need that paperwork. You're going to need the EIN. You're going to need the state corporation paperwork. And when you go to start or open up your business account, you're going to need all three of those if the business license is required. So a lot of people go and try to get a business bank account first, or they go get the EIN. And if you have the EIN and no corporation paperwork, they're going to make you a sole proprietor. Because they can't call you a corporation if they don't have corporation paperwork. So those are the basic things that you need to do. And in Virginia, I have not found any bank that will let you come in and start a business bank account without having a business license, your EIN, and your state corporation paperwork if you're going to be an LLC. Because they want to make sure there's no money laundering and things of that nature going on. So Twiggy, go ahead on what you got for us. Yeah, you have to unmute Twiggy. I can't unmute you.
She typed it in the private chat.
If Twiggy's not ready, then Yolanda, you go for it, lady.
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay,
Yes.
Here comes Twiggy.
Can you hear me?
What question you got for us?
Oh, well, I watched your Q&A, the video that you posted, but I was a little confused on the part when it was when you guys were talking about the NNA.
If you're
training.
talking, we can't hear you at all.
Oh gosh.
Griff, I can hear her.
And I still can't hear you, LaShawn.
Really? I can hear.
You can hear me, but I can't hear you.
And I can hear Twiggy.
Okay, well, LaShawn, let me pose the question to you. So I heard heard the Q&A that Griff had posted, and you were on it. I took your training class for the loan signing agent, but
That got to be yard stream or something.
NNA, and you need to go through additional training with the NNA as a new loan signing agent.
If you have an EIN from another business, you need to get. Well, yeah, each business, from when I talked to my accountant, he told me each business needs to have their own independent EIN. Because if you're doing a clothing business and then you're doing notary, those are two different businesses. So it's best to just have them separate so you don't get stuff confused. But always check with an accountant and they can let you know specifically. And if your accountant's telling you something that you think is suspect, then check with another accountant and just double check and make sure. All right. What about now, LaShawn? Can I hear you?
I don't know, but Griff, we can hear you, and I can hear
Why
Twiggy.
can't I hear anybody? Oh, ho. Wait a minute. I know. My bad. That was me. I have this new Blue Yeti microphone, and I keep forgetting. Yeah, I love it. It sounds, but what it is when I plug it in, the speaker switches over to going through the Blue Yeti instead of my regular thing. So I keep forgetting to switch it back. So, all right, Twiggy, the floor is yours, girl. Go ahead on.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I was watching your video that you dropped, your Q&A from yesterday, I think it was. Good information. Mm-hmm. But I was a little confused on the part when you guys were talking about the NNA training additional. Well, you didn't say additional, but you just said you need the NNA training. And I was like, wait a minute. I did the training with the Notary Institution. And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, does that cancel out that training? And now I have to do this additional training? I'm confused on that part.
Twiggy, what's your name? I know, or you can put it in the chat if you don't mind.
It's Lucretia. We
When did you
spoken.
Okay, we did. That name really sounds so familiar. Maybe if I probably know your email, but what training did you take? You did the Savvy Notary Training Workshop?
Yes.
Okay, so you still need to do the NNA training. I'm not sure exactly what state are you in and everything, but you still do need to do the NNA training. It goes through like a lot of the notarial acts, and also in order to get SnapDrops verified, a lot of times they do actually require you to do that background check. If you send me an email, because I still have mentorship calls, so I don't know
Well,
if you was
I've done a
ever.
couple of mentor calls with you,
Okay.
mentorship calls, but but I haven't lately because I have a full-time job and trying to do this notary on the side. But my job has
Mhm.
been very demanding lately, so I haven't been on a call with you. But my plans were to get on a call with you.
Okay, let me. I gotta look at my email for you because right now it's like drawing a blank in my mind right now for
Well,
your
my
name.
email that you probably know is shopping always.
Oh, shopping always 4321 or
Yes.
something. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
my bad, put you out there.
It's
But I told
okay.
you I know the email addresses and stuff. So okay, I think I do remember talking. I do remember talking with you. So yeah, you still need to do the NNA training. Did you do the background check already?
I have not, but when I listened to the video, the Q&A that Griff had posted, I was like, okay, wait a minute, this is something new because I didn't even know that I had to do this additional training, which is fine. I just,
Mm-hmm.
want to know if that was something that that was needed by me. If not, then that's fine. If it is, either way, if I have to do it, that's fine too.
Yeah, so they have Griff guys has it up on the screen, but right there is the Notary Essentials training.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just like really basic training because really like what I teach a lot of just more so like getting the business started and how to actually set your business up correctly so you can do the services, do the loan signings, understand the loan
Right.
document. I
Mm-hmm.
don't go completely into detail about all the different notarial acts, and the reason being for that is because each state has different guidelines on how those notarial acts are executed.
Mhm.
And
Right.
I'm teaching, different people from different states, and I don't want to cause confusion for nobody on, one what how a notarial act is actually executed. Um, but the training is really helpful at the NNA also.
Okay. All right. I just
Yeah.
want to make sure I'm walking in the right path. And if that's a training that I must take, then yeah, I'll do it. But I know that you had mentioned that if you've already have established business, that would be something that, people have been doing it for years. They wouldn't have to do this. But for me and, not having that under my belt, I would probably need to take that training.
Oh, okay. You know what? I think I do remember talking to you then. It was a while ago. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I remember. My
That's
bad.
okay. Girl, you deal with a lot of people. Don't worry about it.
My bad. But I know those email addresses.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But Griff, what was you saying?
Yeah. Here's what I think one of the biggest problems is that everybody is told, and I was told the same, just do the $70 course. Do the $70, and then you take and it's no, and again, it's no slight, but this is just the way I'm classifying it. Okay, this is me classifying it this way to make it more understandable. And if I'm incorrect, somebody please correct me. But you have the NNA training, and then you have the other trainers who are not part of the NNA. So they're not, from my understanding, they're not officially a part of the NNA. They have not been quote unquote sanctioned or whatever, even though they may be ambassadors or anything. But I have not seen the NNA like say we approve their course or whatever. And if they have, I have not seen it. Okay, so if I'm wrong, my apologies. But what I'm trying to say here is most of them, like Sean, is training to help you get your business set up and established. And a lot of them will say, okay, all you need to do is this. And I believe because the thought is you're going to be responsible and go out there and learn what you need to do according to your state law, how to notarize documents. So if you're going to be responsible, a responsible notary, You're the one who signed up to be a notary in your state. You're the one who took the oath. Remember, you didn't take an oath with the NNA. You didn't take an oath with your notary trainer. You didn't take a oath with the notary institution. You took an oath with your state to say that you will execute their laws and their statute guidelines, ... So then it is up to you to learn what the heck you need to do and to do it correctly. So if you've done all of that, then when you roll over to a notary trainer, whichever training system you want to take, they're not going to really hop on the essentials of how to be a notary, because in all honesty, you should have done that. And that's what they believe you should have done. Just like when you apply for a job, they expect that if you know this job's supposed to have a 4-year degree, you don't come in there with a certificate from the junior college saying, I want to apply for this 4-year degree job. Okay, you don't do that. So you have to go and get the requisite training. Unfortunately, notaries are getting hyped up and they're thinking that, oh, all I need to do from a money saving standpoint, take these folks training, and that's everything I need to know. And they're missing it. And even if you say you just did that, at what point in time did you ever go back and even read your notary handbook from your state? And I'm finding a lot of notaries have never, are not doing it. Know what I'm saying? Have never and are not doing it. And then they're getting hemmed up. And then I'm getting phone calls. LaShawn's probably getting phone calls and others. How do I notarize this? What do I put here? What do I put there? And I'm like, that's when I started learning that I'm thinking the companies or the trainers are teaching certain aspects because they got way more experience than me. So I'm figuring, okay, they're teaching these things because they don't want you to make a mistake, but they're not. And primarily for the reasons like LaShawn pointed out, you got 50 states. They don't know all the laws. So they don't want to put themselves in a situation where they misguide you and your state law has something specific, just like with California. So it's like, it's up to you as the business owner to make sure you understand what you're supposed to do as a notary. And a lot of notaries are not doing that. And that, if you really listen, outside of all of the little jokes and stuff I do, even outside of my little rants that I do, I'm really keep pushing and saying, you need to know, according to your state law, what the heck you're supposed to do with that stamp, when you're supposed to stamp, when you're not, and how you're supposed to do it all. That is your role. That is your responsibility. And if you do that part, then everything that LaShawn is teaching and everybody else is teaching will make sense to you. And you won't get stuck. You won't be, because as I always keep saying, it does no good for you to market yourself to all of these people. Everybody talking about being direct. Okay, you're direct and you marketed yourself, but guess what? You can't do the job. You're not notarizing properly. The documents can't execute it. And then you're wondering like, well, what happened? And if you go back to the notary trainer, they're gonna be like, didn't you read your handbook? Didn't you go and look? And that's why I keep saying, if you get pulled into court, I'm not a lawyer, but why wouldn't an attorney say, okay, well, if the training that could have got you out of this bind is in the notary essentials or in the signing agent exam training, and you never took that. Okay, so then you didn't do your due diligence as a business owner to ensure that you knew what you was doing when you signed those documents. That's why I keep sharing with y'all. Our business is that serious because nobody who you're sitting in front of can notarize their own document. And you're commissioned and you took an oath. So you got to take this stuff serious. You can't keep popping off with these little attitudes and worrying about how much you're getting paid and how much you know, well, it's going to cost me this amount of time and that amount of time. And I'm going to scratch up my red bottoms if I have to walk more than, 10 feet from my car to go do a signing. You worrying about all of that and you can't do the job accurately and correctly for the person that you're in front of. And to me, I take this real serious because today I got a phone call. As I put out, I wasn't doing no closings or nothing today. I get a phone call and a gentleman found me on 123 Notary and he needed a will and some other documents, some transfer documents signed for his mom because her cancer had kicked in and she's on her way out of this life and into the next. And he just flew in. He works for FedEx. He's a pilot. And he had just flown in, found me, and was like, can you get over here now? And I was like, I'll be right there. And to walk in there and to see the pain that that family was dealing with, you cannot go in there acting a fool and trying to upcharge and take it. You got to do your part right, because if you don't notarize those documents correctly, and when they go to do something and they say, okay, well, we got these documents that say I have permission, I have rights, I have power of attorney, and you didn't do them right, you don't want to be in that situation. That's why I say, and I know it sounds mean when I say it, if you ain't going to do this business seriously, go find something else, because you're going to put yourself in some trouble because you won't do the business correctly. This is one of them, to me, one of the businesses that you really got to do correctly. And it's all on us as an individual to do it right. I'm in that hospital room by myself. I got to be able to do this. And the only other person I can really call on is the NNA if I come across something that I'm stumped on. And I did get paid decently. They paid me good and all of that. But I made sure I took care of them. I made sure I showed compassion toward the mom. All of that. Everything. What you got, LaShawn? Anything else, Twiggy?
No, I'm good. I appreciate that.
Twiggy, I look forward to hearing from you.
Okay, for sure.
Well, go Griff, keep that up for a second too.
Yeah.
So, I started a little different. You know how the millennials can be, we be moving on fast and we just trying to get it, at the end of the day. But, you did bring up the point about it is important for people to really know and understand. Well, it's really their duty to understand their laws. And I guess for me, it was just differently because I knew to read the handbook, so yes, when I started, I did just purchase that one first package because, I purchased the package but I always read the handbook, the Texas, not even the Texas primer. I went on the Secretary of State and downloaded the handbook for the notary that they had on there. And I carried that with me in my phone everywhere I went. That was my handbook. And I would read it. I was always studying how to execute the notarial acts in my state. So I had the resource, so that's why I didn't necessarily get it. But now, I teach other people, to be honest, I do recommend people get this second package. Especially if it depends on your learning style also, if you know that you need somewhere to actually really understand the notarial laws, or not even the laws, but the process of the Notarization Act. And I think that's where a lot of people actually get confused on with the loan documents, because they don't understand how to actually fill out a notary certificate. They don't understand what it means, when they don't understand sometimes too, how to actually identify the signer. And really that just boils down to what your state laws on how you can identify people, how you fill out notarial certificates, the wording on there. Your state will always tell you most likely how to actually execute those notarial acts. Now, Texas is a little janky. There's no training here in Texas. So you kind of really have to read and figure it out on your own type of deal. But Griff, did you answer the question that was first about the QR code?
Okay, QR code. I didn't see that one.
Oh, okay. She posted it at 7:47. Miss Tex TXB for you.
Okay, yeah, I saw her. Okay, yeah, she did. Okay, she was posting early.
Oh yeah, because I was getting people motivated, Griff.
Oh, I don't see it. Okay, what was the question about the QR code?
So she wants to know, this is a marketing question. What is the purpose of the QR code on business card, and why and how would you use it?
I'm gonna have to let you answer that because I haven't. I understand QR codes from IT perspective, but I haven't used them from a marketing. Look, and I know I'm gonna sound old. I just found out what the QR code and Cash App was for. I saw the thing the dude was like, he was trying to find my Griffin Notary on Cash App, and I was going through and I accidentally hit the QR code. He like, oh yeah, that's what I need. I was like, oh, that's what that's for? He was like, yeah, man. I was like, all right, man, you hit me to some game. So now I know what that's for. I didn't know.
We'll get together, Griff. That's all right though. So me personally, I don't use QR codes. I just think I don't know. I just feel like the business card is for the business card. But I see that you can use it as a way not to put your website on there. And basically what a QR code is that it allows a person to scan the code with their phone. And when that happens, your whatever you have it linked to, that website will show up. Now, some people, I've been seeing it a lot lately, like when COVID happened, because now like when you go into restaurants, they have you scan the QR code to get to the menu. To be honest, you can use it in marketing, like putting it on products. Like if you had like a sticker, like I could see you actually getting a sticker, creating a sticker QR code and maybe leaving it at places instead of your business card where people are going to scan it and save your website to your phone. But I don't know. I feel like I deal with a lot of older people, old school people. And to be honest, I'm like that too. I really don't like saving everything to my phone personally. Griff, we don't even need to do, they got free, we can do it straight from my desktop.
Okay. Yeah. Now I was just trying to, just in case somebody wanted to see, because somebody might not know what it looks like. Yeah. Oh. So in this case, you just type it, you can download it, whatever you want to do. Because when I used to build mobile apps, we used to have to use QR codes so that the people could scan it, because they would be, fat thumbing stuff. So I decided, I said, okay, let's use a QR code. And I think this is one of the sites that I used to use to generate them. And we would put it into a website and then send it out to the shipyard people, and they would scan the code and get whatever, we was trying to build for them.
Oh, this easy now. You could do it straight from your computer. Right click on your computer right now.
Oh, on your desktop?
Yeah, on the no. Go back to that website. So this is how you can create a QR code, everybody. So you see, yep, you can do it right there. And then what happens is that image will save onto your computer, and you could probably go on Canva and make like a really nice graphic and attach that image to the graphic. So it's easy to make a QR code, and that QR code is going to be linked to the website that you that you right click it on. So okay. Some people use it for their website, but I can see you using it for your stickers and things of that nature. To be honest, that's how I will market with that QR code in that way. Or let's say if you have a client and they want to know your fees, maybe you can have a web page on there where it just show your fees, and you send them your QR code, like this is my menu type of thing. Right. But I don't really use QR codes personally myself. But that was it.
All right. So when the first 3 years, and just so people know, the first 3 years, all I did was the $70. And when I went in and took the signing agent course, the Notary Essentials, I was like, okay, I get it now. And I understand the importance of them because nobody really talked about the importance of them until after I kept hearing, oh, after you've done these training programs or work with these mentors, then they say, oh, by the way, go back and do that. So that's when I started saying we need to do that first so you can really get a handle on it and make sure you understand what the heck is going on. Now, real quick, just so people, these are doing the training that I was doing. A lot of people didn't understand notorious acknowledgement. And these are some of the standard ones that I see over and over and over again. The same, these are the layouts that I see. And if you notice, the first one and the second one are the exact same. The only difference is that on the second one, the date is there, and on the first one it's not. And what people been doing is they'll get confused and they will put their name up here, not realizing the 2021. So you have to pay attention. And the main thing is, like I was like, and it goes back to the handbook. In Virginia handbook, it tells us there's 7 things that we have to have in every notarial acknowledgement statement. So if we have those 7 things, then we can use that notarial acknowledgement. Just like California has some very, very specific things in theirs. So more than likely, if you saw this and you was in California, you can't use this here statement because it does not meet California's requirement. So you wouldn't use that. So you would use an all-purpose acknowledgement. And that's with anybody. So if Texas has a specific requirement and you're in another state and that in Texas notarial statement doesn't match what you have for your state, then you use the one for your state. Now, this here is the beauty of being a part of the NNA, is that if you get the NNA membership, the hotline membership, it has certificate forms, notary certificate forms that you can download and you can use. So let's just, so you can see California has the different types. This here is their acknowledgement one. And California has all of this here stuff that has to be there and everything else. So California's is a little more detailed, or you can get one from your state, because I think California, you know, they'll provide you with it. So you have to use California's. For like Virginia, ours is pretty simple. This is all ours is. It's not a whole lot to ours. You see what I'm saying? It's not a whole lot to Virginia's. Now, the part that's throwing some people off is down here at the bottom. It's suggested that you put in the document that the notarial certificate that you're adding is for, the date of that document, and the number of pages means the number of pages of that document, not including the notarial certificate. Now, right now, somebody's saying, no. They don't want to believe that. Well, just so you can see for yourself, down here, number 12, it says number of pages in the notarized document. This may point out fraudulent, additional, or removed pages. Do not count the certificate as a page. So it has instructions. However, the certificate will get regarded as a page by the recording officials. So if it's a 15-page deed and you put down 16 pages because you added a certificate, when they look at this, they're going to be expecting to see 16 pages of the deed rather than 15 pages of what it really is. So that can throw people off. So this means the actual document. That's all that means. Okay. So you follow through and do that. But what some people, and then signers, and I've done a video about this, so I'm not even going, there's a video out there that I did about this where, you know, the signers other than the one above, if there's other signers other than let's say you put John, it's supposed to be John and Jane and Philip. You able to put John on here, Jane on here, but Philip, you need to do a separate acknowledgement. You will put Philip down here to denote that other than the 2 people up there for this document, there's another signer named Philip. And then on his, you would do the same. He will put him at the top and then them 2 at the bottom, even if you're doing a split signing. So if you're doing a split signing and you're doing Tawana in Texas, and then the other person is doing Kevin in Kansas, you will put Kevin is the other signer for this document that I'm putting this acknowledgement to. And then when they get it, they'll do their part.
So someone had a question right here from Virginia, the official seal notary. She wants to know if I'm in VA and the acknowledgement says California, do I cross out California, write in VA and initial? So scroll back up again on there. I guess it depends on where it's saying it at.
Well,
So
this one here you will fill out. This is what you download. But typically, yes, you can line through it. Let's just say, well, see, if it's California, I would just use the Virginia acknowledgement because California has a whole bunch of other stuff in there that's not required for Virginia.
right.
So that's what I would do. And I've done several California ones, and that's what I would do. So let me
Can we see that in that certificate for California again? Oh, okay. So I guess she's asking about where to cross it out at. Is she talking about crossing out that state? Yeah, I mean, you will always cross that part out because, it's always going to be where the notarization is actually taking place. So you will always cross this out. But I guess she asking about like this part because it's basically California. But you know what? No, you will have to be careful with that because depending on where that loan is closing, if it's for a California property, they may require the California acknowledgements on there. But you can still, I don't see what's the problem in using it unless your state has a specific way on the notarial wording, and that's
right.
what changes. So like the California notaries, their stuff is really specific on their acknowledgments, so they can't necessarily use other people acknowledgments because their state is very specific on what they can use.
Correct. And I'm pulling this document up to show y'all something.
Oh, her name is Gilletta. I'm probably said that all wrong, but yeah.
So here, this is Virginia. This here is saying what Virginia. So for Virginia, a Virginia certificate needs to have these 7 things. As long as that notarial certificate has these 7 things, we good. That's really what it boils down to. If it has these 7 things, we good. If that notarial certificate doesn't have those things, so some of the times you'll see a notarial certificate and it doesn't have the date on there. It just says subscribe. I've seen where it just says subscribe and sworn before me by so and so, and there was no date.
Oh wow.
And it depends on who's putting these documents together for their state and all of that, and then they sending them to you in another state. So you have to find out what does it have, so you need to make sure. And for us, the main thing is making sure that it has that date in there. So you may have to add the date in there. And just like one of the issues that I come across is this one here, where it says this instrument was acknowledged before me on this date. But what Virginia shows, they show name a person acknowledging.
Well, that's an acknowledgement.
Right. What I'm saying is Virginia wants the name of the person. So this one doesn't have the name of the person. It doesn't have by John Jones.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. So you can handwrite that in. You can handwrite by John Jones, or you can add a certificate. But why add a certificate if this has all the other elements and all you need to do is just write by John Jones, you can just handwrite that in there and everything, because down here, that's what you would do down here on this one.
Mm-hmm.
You would do that. And this is the notarial statement that throws a lot of notaries off, because when they see this, they put their name here. They will put their name. They put their name. The foregoing instrument was acknowledged before me on this date by whose name? Demetrius Shekels. She will put her name here, Demetrius Shekels, and then sign it, Demetrius Shekels. And you're not supposed to do that. Your name doesn't go here. And so many notaries will call me saying, yeah, they told me that I did the notorious statement wrong. And I said, what did you do? They said, well, I put my name in the acknowledgement and I wasn't supposed to. And I'm like, that's correct. And and that's where I started realizing people didn't understand how to properly notarize. Why don't they know how to properly notarize? Because the notary trainers don't focus on that. Well, then who does? The National Notary Association. So if the National Notary Association focuses on that, and there's only a select small group of states that actually take the training, and I also learned that even in those states that people provide training, California, North Carolina, I forgot the other one, some notaries are so hyped up on trying to make the money because they've seen all these infomercials, they're not even paying attention in the notary training and they miss this. So then they hop out there and they see this statement. Oh, well, this is acknowledged by me. And I've had notaries set up there and argue me down saying that no, my name goes there. But I have example after example, personally appeared who? You're not going to put your name there. Before me on this date, before me, Sebin Griffin III, a notary public, personally appeared Sebin Griffin III. You're not going to put your name there. The person who appeared before you goes there. And in my training, when I was doing it, people would see this here. Personally appeared, the person's name. Personally appeared. And then when they get to that one that I've showed y'all before, as soon as they see the buy, they're like, oh, my name goes there. Your name doesn't go in a notarial statement. The person who signed the document name goes there. And there's no scenario that exists where your name goes there and you're the notary. If you're getting a document notarized, then your name goes there. But if you're notarizing documents, your name doesn't go there at all. But the main thing is for Virginia, it's making sure that you understand that you have those. For us, wherever the heck it went at, there it is. Here. And here's another thing, LaShawn. This right here, a lot of people, and for whatever reason, the fellas, y'all keep trying to be slick, calling me, talking about, do I really need to put my seal on the document? Now, there's only a few states that I've heard, and I can't remember the names, that don't require a seal. But if you read your handbook, it will tell you what you're supposed to do. And in this case, the handbook clearly says the official notary seal near the notary's official signature. And there are people out there that literally are saying, let's go back to this here. If the signature the signature line for the notary doesn't say signature, they're literally not signing it. If it just says notary public, people have been printing their name here.
Oh, wow.
They've been printing their name. They're like, well, it didn't say signature. And because it doesn't say seal over here or anywhere, they don't put a seal on there. But if you read your handbook, it tells you near the notary's official signature on the notarial certificate paper of a document, the notary shall affix a sharp, legible, permanent, and photographically reproducible image of the seal. So it's telling you what you're supposed to do out of your handbook. And because you haven't reading it, because you're not studying it or anything, you're getting into this here business. And then when you're required to do your job as a notary, you can't do it because you don't know what you're supposed to do. And that's why I say you keep, in my opinion.
Why you got to keep saying my opinion, bro?
Because some people think, because if I say certain things, they'll be like, well, that ain't for everybody. So I have to say, in my opinion, If somebody has, I got 4 years in this. I'm starting my 4th year. In my opinion, if somebody's saying they're trying to be a mentor, trying to be a notary trainer, and they got more years than me, they should be able to at least point a person or guide them or direct them to doing this part, which is know your state laws, understanding it. That's what I believe somebody who got 10, 15 years in this business should be doing. If they're asking notaries to train with them, and they got 2,000-3,000 of these, there's certain things that, in my opinion, they should know. Okay, I've seen notaries make this mistake. And then you don't say anything and you don't warn them of it. And then I get phone calls from notaries saying, I never heard of any of this. I didn't know that I was supposed to stamp. I didn't know I was supposed to sign. So I just put my signature there. And then I've heard notaries say that they've been told that instead of signing their name here, just put your stamp there. And that suffices for your signature. So you stamp on this signature line instead of signing.
Right. But you know what, to really help people with that, because, to be honest, like sometimes, you don't know what you don't know, at the end of the day. And then it also boils down to, you always think about your transactions as when you went to go meet other notaries before you was a notary. And I know a lot of people have been in a situation where, when you needed something notarized, you just bought the piece of paper to them, and all you care is that their stamp is on there. And not really understanding that, to be honest, that's not suffice, like you said. But, I teach people in recognizing notarial certificates and notarial wording and how to recognize that wording. And when they see that wording, 9 times out of 10, that is where they will place that notary seal and also sign. I think it's that education comes with it, as long as people know, because you don't know what you don't know. Because if someone bring you a blank sheet of paper that they done wrote up, and they're like, oh, I need this notarized, you might just put your stamp on it, but not really realizing, like, you actually need to provide them with the notarial certificate that they can choose from. So I think it just go back to people just don't know. People just don't know.
Yeah, and when that happened to me, I was at a signing some months ago, probably around the wintertime, and out of nowhere, this lady said, hey, I got this letter that I had to handwrite. They told me I had to handwrite it. Her bank.
Who had to handwrite it? She did, the signer or the notary?
Right. She did. Now, this is something separate. She had to handwrite a note saying that she wanted a bank account closed. The bank told her, you have to send us a handwritten note that has been notarized with your signature on it, stating that you want this bank account closed. So she had to sit there and handwrite, I so-and-so want this bank account from this bank with this bank account number closed. And then she signed it and dated it, but she needed it notarized. So I whipped out my acknowledgement, because I asked her, I said, are we doing an oath, or are we just witnessing you sign? She said, no, I don't need to do an oath. I said, okay, I'm just acknowledge. Bam, bam, bam. Got it all taken care of. So if I'm asked, I will add a certificate if there's not the proper space or verbiage on there for me to do. And that's the number one thing that a lot of people need to understand, is that when you get in a situation and that notarial certificate may feel a little iffy, one, call the NNA. If you have the membership with them, call them the hotline and double check. Because if you call me, I'm going to redirect you. I'm like, okay, if you're not comfortable with the notarial language and you're not sure, then use an all-purpose acknowledgement. If you're still unsure, then call the NNA, explain it to them, and they'll guide you to what you need to do. And then now you have some cover. So if the title company comes back and say, why did you do it this way? Well, I contacted the NNA. So you can tell them you contacted me. They're going to be like, okay, we'll get Griff. They're going to be coming after me, but they ain't going to mess with the NNA. So you tell them, hey, NNA told me ... This is what they said. And they explain my state law. My state law said, this is what I'm supposed to do. And that's what I'm supposed to follow. And that's why y'all have heard me say in other videos, nobody's training, nobody advice should be redirecting you from following your state law that you swore an oath to.
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple. But what people are doing is they are taking an oath to their state, but doing everything they can to execute what they learned from their notary trainer, even though in some cases, and LaShawn doesn't fall into this at all, but some of the other ones, they fall in this where the information or the advice they're giving you does not necessarily apply to your state, and you're trying to implement something that goes against your state law.
Yeah, that's a great question. Can I answer that question right
Go
there?
for it.
Miss, we're gonna say Miss Moore. But so she said, what about when a person who got their instructions from said that they don't want a loose leaf acknowledgement, they want it on the same paper, there's no verbals for notarization. I'll tell them how to what normally, to be honest, sometimes you have to educate the public on how the process works.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you handle those situations. So there's a lot of official, allegedly, government papers that you'll see, especially when you're doing general notary work, where they'll say, this had the notary sign their name here and place their stamp there, but there's no type of notarial wording on that document. I think one form, I'm trying to think on top of my head, I can't think on top of my head what form it was, but there's some forms where there's no notarial wording on there, and they just want you to actually put your stamp on there. So to be honest, you educate that person on how the process works. You tell them that, I understand what they're telling you to do, but I'm just tell them, I'm leading you in the right way. As a notary, we require notarial wording. This is what makes your document official. This is what will help you stand up in court, because me just placing my stamp on this document and there's no notarial wording, it's just my stamp on that paper with my name on there, and it doesn't mean anything. It's not saying that you swear to this information or anything like that. So that's what I tell people. And if the person is like really want to go back and forth with you, you can always have them call the other person that is making that request and get them on the phone. But hopefully you can educate the person enough to where they're like, okay, I understand. But you have to tell people, like, you have to, in this business, one that you really have to be really firm and tell people what it is, because the public will try to run you. And if you are scared and a little soft, like, people will run you. But you can't let people do that. You just have to educate them on how the process works. If they don't want to follow suit, then you know what? We don't have nothing to talk about, and then you can just go on about your day,
Yeah. And y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, and all that good stuff. Feel free to share. And if you have a question, hop on in here, y'all. Come on. I see Miss Twiggy still hanging in here with us. If you got another question, Miss Twiggy, go for it. But if y'all got a question, and again, this ain't Facebook where you're going to be getting ridiculed and told you got to go get training and all. Nobody's going to be coming after you and all that kind of stuff. So if you have a question, if you have a comment, if you have, I almost said praise report. If you
we got a lot of
something good that's been going on with you, a success, something that has successfully happened for you in this business, gotten your first signing or whatever, we want to hear. Okay, we want to hear, because we know y'all want to share, because y'all call me and I love hearing it, but also other people need to hear about your success. They don't need to hear your success when you hit $10,000. They need to hear your success when you hit that first check of $100 or even $200-300 that you made. They need to know from you that they can do this business. So feel free to hop on in here. The link is there. Hop on in here. And you will, let me put it in the chat.
I got the questions here that I've been copying and pasting from the comments for you.
Okay.
We got questions on top of questions, Griff.
All right, hit me with the questions, because see, that's why I want people to call in, because I don't be following that chat thing.
Oh, I love the chat. I love the chat. You know what? Some people are shy, and
don't be shy. Don't be shy.
They're
So
shy.
they be calling me at 3 a.m. talking about, hey, Griff, I got this signing in 23 days. So can you help me? All right, fine. So I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Call the daggone thing. Hop on here. Stop being scared. Y'all, we supposed to be. All you got to do is click on that link, John. That link that I just put up there. You click on that link, and it'll pop you on in here on StreamYard.
Okay, so let me see. I'm just gonna start backwards because it was a lot of questions, Griff, that we missed on here.
Okay.
But dang, it's a lot of questions coming up. But then I'm just gonna copy and paste them too. So shit. Someone said I haven't started because I'm researching how to get in the NSA business. From my comprehension, I need to go online and do the NNA training, and they will get my license and materials I need. So, the first thing, Griff, do you want to answer that question, or you want? Oh,
well, so, I'll chime in too.
Okay, so the first thing is, I don't know what state you're in. But first, you want to do some research first about becoming a notary signing agent. Make sure that you don't have, if there's restrictions, understand those restrictions and understand how you can operate as a notary signing agent in your particular state. After you figure out the restrictions, and if you continue, you want to move forward, then you can go on to the next step. And the next step is, I do always tell people about going through the NNA to get their training. And also do the background check. Let me see, because it's a lot to that question. But in order to get your commission, because you said license, so the first thing is, before you can even think about becoming a notary signing agent, the first thing is you have to be a notary first. You can do that on the NNA website. So if you go to the nationalnotary.org and click become a notary, they will do the process for you of becoming a notary. That is the first thing that you can do. After you become a notary, and like I said, become a notary, make sure you did the research. Then you will get into signing up for some of the companies, take a training, spend some time. To be honest, I don't really teach the whole thing of like spending all that time learning documents. I believe in spending time and really studying your laws and how to execute the notarization process. That's the biggest thing, because if you understand what to do as a notary, how to execute the notarial acts, like what Griff was showing, understanding what a notary certificate is and everything, when it comes to doing loan signings, like it's not going to be hard at all, because you understand your duties and your job as a notary. So that is some information for you to get started. I forgot who. John. He might be on.
Hello, can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, peace. Thank y'all so much for doing this. So, I'll try to be quick. So, basically, I haven't got started nothing. I haven't done anything. I've just been researching. Mr. Griffin, thank you for your video, because I've been studying for a long time. But when I saw your video yesterday, and it's like, look, nobody's coming to check your presentation. You need to learn how to do a notary, learn the basics. So, I figured I'd do that on that National Notary website. But after that, I understand you got to get the commission, go through the National Notary website to get your training. But what about everything else, so far as preparing the documents to go on your appointment and actually getting to work? Like, is there somewhere where you register where people send you work, or you got to go look for it on your own, or how you do that?
You can. So if you look at, go ahead, Griff. Oh, you.
Yeah. If you look in the in my community tab, you got to scroll all the way down. 5 months ago, I did this post. One of the first posts I did, and these are the main signing services that I'm with, for my area, and these are the ones who I get the majority of my work from. SnapDocs, Signing Order, Signature Closers, App Sign 360, National Notary Service, Notary Bank Serve, which you need some experience, and they've been a little bit harder to get on. And even if you do get on, so many people on there, they've been snatching them orders up. So I don't even have a chance to grab an order. CX Choice, Notary Go, Zone, you need some experience. Solidify, you need experience. Express Notary, a lot of times Express Notary will find you, because what a lot of these companies like Coast to Coast, which is through SnapDocs, so Coast to Coast, Notary Go, and Express Notary will go to signingagent.com, which is the NNA site, and they have some way of finding out when a new notary has popped in the system, and then they will start sending you work. It's not high paying work a lot of times, but they will send you stuff. I believe Coast to Coast is doing it to test you out to see where you at, because they'll send you a debt settlement or a loan mod, making $30, $40, maybe $50, and to see how you handle that. And then you go out there and do your thing. And I believe, and then if you're in SnapDocs, I believe they'll start using you a little bit more. And just from a business standpoint, I think that's a smart thing to do. So you hop in here, let me see where this notary is at, how they handle this. If you can't handle a 17-page loan modification that only has 1 or 2 documents that need to be notarized, what's going to make me think that you can handle a 150-page closing that has 13 notarizations that you have to do in there? You know what I'm saying? And you just coming in. So they want to make sure you're doing stuff and doing stuff right and everything. Timios, I think they're based out of North Carolina. Every now and then I get stuff from them.
I think they're in Texas. They actually
they're in Texas.
They're in Dallas. Timios, I'm gonna be honest, I eat real good. I was eating real good off of them. And with Timios, like when you do really good work for them, you're always going to receive notifications from them. And they pay. I believe they pay like on the 1st and like the 15th was their date that they send out issue out checks, but they pay. I love them. Like I never had any complaints with them. I think it did take a while. I don't think like they was accepting like brand new notaries, but that's why I always tell people, even if a website, like if they say, for example, like, oh, we're not taking people unless it's like bank serve where they're really strict on how they filter their process, I still signed up. Because what happened was after the year, they actually started using me. Like they're really good. They're really good.
Yeah, and I was getting orders from Timios, but the problem was that where they were sending me at was on the other side of this bridge called Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel, and that was like, and it was always at rush hour. So for me to go do it, and I know I have another signing, there was no way I was going to make that my signing after that on time because of the rush hour, because of the traffic. So matter of fact, they haven't sent me anything because I keep turning them down.
They're really good. Like they're really good. Like
no, I believe that. I'm not saying
they send documents on time.
When they send the orders, I can't ever do them. That's the only problem is they can't ever do them. Now, I got on with Solidify. Oh, Solidify, man, my belly's fat with Solidify because Solidify pays every week.
Well, how about this? Try this with Timio because this will work for me, because what they used to do was send me orders for Austin, and Austin is about Austin is an hour away from me. Mm-hmm. But here in Texas, to them, that's a short drive, but I'm from the city, so to me, that's long. But that's really long. But what I did was I had took one of their Austin assignments, and then I had took like 2 or 3 of them because I go shopping out there. So I did it when I went shopping, and then I contacted them and I told them, I said, I do like working for y'all, but I said, but do you ever have assignments like in my area? And she's like, yeah, we do. She said, and they went in there and like updated my profile and everything for me and changed my zip code to places in this area, and they started sending me all the assignments in there. So sometimes, like when you are signing up for these signing companies, sometimes you do have to start off pretty broad and do some work for them a little bit, maybe 1, 2, 3 assignments, and then call them and say, hey, Do you ever have assignments closer to me? And they will recraft your profile to the ones in your area and really try to make sure that they take care of you. So that's something that you can do with them.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So now, and again, as always, with some of them, you will start getting as you get more experience, then you just get more offers altogether. So we talked about that yesterday. Just get the information out there. But these are some of the main sites that I've signed up for. There's some stuff that I know that's out there that I've never heard of. Certain companies, they don't necessarily do business in my area, but the way I found some of these sites, I just Googled them. And just so y'all could, let me see. One of them was when I went to Notary Go. They had at one point in time, they had all of these different things down here at the bottom. So me being the web guy that I am, I hope that ain't nothing bad. All right. So I would go and check these websites out. And then I start seeing, oh, okay, well, y'all associated with these people. Okay. And then I would start clicking on these other sites here and just go see what they were about. One of them was, I don't know if they still around. It was Notary Loop. Somehow I stumbled across this site, Notary Loop. And then I started seeing, okay, there were these companies. And this is how I found several of the companies. I can't remember how I stumbled across Notary Loop. I honestly don't.
Oh, I need to write that down.
But when I went to Notary Loop, these companies here, except for VinTech, and here's Express Notary. This is that Express Notary I was telling you about. So
where is that at? Is that in Texas? That sounds real familiar.
Which one? Express Notary?
Yeah.
I have no idea. Now the Express Notary, they got their website is archaic for my standard. It's not modern enough. It's okay, but it's like But Signex is one that I use that hits me up all the time. X marks the spot, TPC, network transactions. I've done maybe one with Prestige Notaries. And I even called them because I was with them for like over a year. And I said, hey, I ain't got them. They said, well, we don't really have a whole lot in your area. And when they did have something, it was like an hour and a half away. So I was like, okay, so I don't even look to get anything from them. And I've done stuff with Serenity. Haven't done anything with VinTech. So, yep, I guess they down. Sorry to stop. VinTech.
Oh, but you know what? To be honest, like if you set your business up really well and have your profile nice, signing companies will find you.
Correct.
I have signing companies find me on Google. Title companies find me on Google.
So for those people who like, well, I just want to hit these people. So like this here, I would go. So this here, I can even Negret's Notary. They got notary registration right there. I hit that. And then I would go through and register with them. And now in this case, it said, do you already have a Notary Cafe profile? Okay, so if you do, then I guess you can log in with your Notary Cafe stuff, and then it pulls it into them. Then the other question would be, and then I guess you could call them to find out, do you have work in my area? So now you're registered with them, and then it's just a matter of whether they actually have work in your area. And if they do, great. If they don't, then you just keep moving. You just keep going, and that's it. But that's how in the beginning, I found a lot of the companies. And like I said, I was on this site, and somewhere one of these sites that I came across, that's how I found Signature Closers. That's how I found Signing Order, Notary Resume, all of that, and this site links to this site that links to that site. That's how I found a lot of them. And then I just started signing up. Then I realized, oh, okay, Notary resume is some everybody, is signing order. And then most of these I will say Signex, X marks the spot, TPC, network transaction, and Serenity are all in signing order. All of them are in signing order. And I get a lot of work from Signex. And Signex orders are $90 to $100.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. In my area. I would have to caveat that in my area. Okay. So I don't want somebody going to them and saying, yeah, Griff told me you paying $90 and you down there, Boca Raton, which, we know LaShawn doesn't know how to pronounce Boca Raton.
Don't. We ain't gonna do it.
Now, and see, like for Virginia notaries, if you're an e-notary, you will probably get a call from TPC because they do a lot of e-notary stuff. And you can just, sign up with them here. So they do a lot of e-notary stuff. And I've done some e-notary stuff, and see what they do is they send you right to Notary Resume.
Oh, okay.
So some of these come, and Notary Resume is tied into signing order. So when you put your profile in Notary Resume, it creates you an account in signing order.
Okay, so is Notary Resume, is that public? Is the profiles public?
Yep.
Oh, okay. All right.
Mm-hmm. So.
Oh, wow, that's good. See, but that goes why it's important for people to have the website, because with the search engine optimization, if you have everything, you will start to just show up. Because I have clients who, before they even call, they will try to search all the profiles that I had, and then they're like, "Oh, I seen your profile," you know. Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, the guy, y'all showing out.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have that many guys here in this area.
Yeah, that's my son there.
Oh.
So he rocking and rolling and everything. So these are people. Okay. Yeah, these are people in our area. And see, here's one of the things that I did to get an idea of how to do my profile. I went in here and I said, okay, let me click on this person here. And then I would look at their profile and see what it was like. And then I would sit here in midnight, and I know her personally, Veronica. She's the one who I did the interview with, the very first interview. And I would sit there and I would just read all these people's profiles, and if anything fit me, I'm like, okay, yeah, I can do that, because I might have done something that they're talking about in their profile that I did not realize I did. And then when I read it in theirs, it's like, oh, snap, I did do that. And then I added into mine, and the cool thing about the profile is that you can always modify it and change it as you gain more and more experience. Don't just have your profile out there from just 6 months ago. If you've done 10, 15, 20, or even 80 signings, and you haven't changed your profile to reflect that you've gained some experience. And then all of a sudden, if you say, like, I did a HELOC. I mean, I literally in the beginning will say, I've done 14 refis, 2 sellers, 2 purchases, a HELOC. I would literally list the number of them. Now, once I hit 100 signings, I stopped doing that because that was just too much to keep track of. But for Miss Melanie Carter here, I have an interview with a local title company tomorrow. What interview tips can you give me on what to say and not to say? Well, the first, also, what are some good questions you suggest to be asked?
Just for a job, or is she trying to?
She has an interview with a local title company tomorrow.
Oh, okay. What state is she in?
Yeah, what state you in, young lady?
I don't like that word interview for me. I'm done. If I want to interview, I might as well just sit in your office and work for you. But one thing I know you should definitely have is a fee chart. That's one thing that you have. But what interview tips? Huh?
She's in Michigan.
Okay, I would say have a fee chart. Have I don't know if like you have any like a resume or something that. Oh, where'd Griff go? Okay, so maybe you could do like a resume, like a notary resume, just showing, if you have any experience in real estate or anything of that nature, or just different companies that you may have worked for. Like where'd Griff go? You
Yeah.
can do something like that. What interview tips can you give on what to say and what not to say? How long have you been a signing agent? That's another question also.
Yeah, hop on in here and talk to us, lady.
Griff, don't worry, I'm over here answering questions for you in this chat.
I see.
What? I gotta make sure everyone is
I know,
happy.
y'all. Look.
I gotta make sure people are happy.
See, this is how I got. This is when I gotta let my age pop in there. Yeah, I'm too old to follow the chat. No.
No worries. I'll get in here and answer them as I can. Someone did ask a question.
So she's been a signing agent since October.
Okay.
Yeah. I would think I've never been on an interview for a notary position, but I would one of the things that I would want to know is, what is your workflow? How do y'all go about doing your workflow? What do you expect of a notary that's working with you directly? How often are you expecting me to be in the office? Do you expect me to actually just be here in the office? What's my ability to work with other title companies or signing companies that I may get work from? Do you have, are you going to drop me if I say no more than one time to an order that you may want to give me if I'm already booked? How early will you let me know that an order is coming? Do y'all do last minute, same day signings? So if that's y'all typical workflow, if your business model, and I talked about this early on when I came on YouTube, if your business model is you just get signings on Tuesday for Tuesday, you're like, oh yeah, we just got told it was a closing, and now you're looking for a notary to like be Johnny on the spot. If your work life, if the way you operate doesn't fit that, then you probably say, okay, well, I might not be a good fit if that's your workflow. So you need to find out what their workflow / business model is, how they like to operate, and what they expect out of a notary. And then you want to also make sure that they're not trying to get you as a 1099 independent contractor to operate as you're an employee with them, because there's certain rules and laws about that. And I did a video about that not too long ago. You really have to be careful on that to make sure that they're not talking like, hey, we got these orders and you free to go, but they need you to sit there and have you doing other work with Miss Agnes. And then every time there's a sign, oh yeah, well, once you finish filing, come on over here and do this closing. You don't want to be in that situation.
I agree. Can I answer Ms. Moore?
Yeah.
Can you put it on the screen?
All right. Where's she at?
I'm gonna try to say her name. What is Shadivia?
Okay, I got it. This one?
Oh, yeah. So it said next question and answer. Establishing a Google page, creating a social media, a branding video, maybe. I'm looking to transfer over to a business aspect. I've done over 200 the past year, but under my name, my LLC. So first thing is, I do always tell people to create the Google page because that is the start of it. But as far as with creating a social media, first you have to really define what do you want and figure out your goals, what your purposes of your business. So say, for example, you create your Google page, and the next step before you can get started on social media, you need a website. But establishing your website, and then you can go to social media, but really establishing what exactly it is that you want to do. So let's say, for example, you know what, I just want to do loan signings. I want people to find me to do all the loan closings. I want title companies to find me. So one is identifying your audience and identifying your why. That's the first thing. And then that will help you with the social media aspect on what content to create, because you have to create content that is for that audience. And not necessarily for notaries or whatever. It's for your audience. So that's how you pretty much do it. If you know that you want to just increase, your goal is to receive more calls for general notary work, you can create a branding video, for your business, but, maybe creating videos on what do you really do to help your local area, and why is the notary so important? Maybe that's something like along the lines of what you can do. But with the Google page, it does take time to build that page. But to be honest, that is where you're going to make your money, especially for general notary work or even loan signings also. But that's to answer her question, Miss Moore.
Yeah, and from a web guy perspective, because when you're marketing, one of the things you have to keep in mind with marketing, when you talk about social media, and this is what I learned when I had took some I guess sort of classes or some training on marketing with Google or just over the internet. You got to look at where your target audience, as LaShawn said, where's your target audience going to be? If your target audience is going to be on Facebook, then cool. But if they're not, and then you're going to be spending money on Facebook ads and your target audience is not on Facebook, you just blew a bunch of money. Think of the financial sector. If you look at any golf game, that's where you see Prudential, Fidelity, all of these Edward Jones. You see all of those high-end financial planners and companies marketing themselves doing these sporting events. You don't see them on your social media because the clientele that they're trying to attract is not on social media. They're not trying to attract a bunch of millennials who think they know financials, but they don't. And they waste their time because they're thinking that they're going to get instant rich overnight because they got a money phone or a play money phone. You see what I'm saying? So, and it could be the same for us non-millennials.
Yeah, let's not talk about the millennials making it happen. We making it happen right now.
Okay. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
We making it happen.
But you have to keep in mind, where is your target audience? That's where you want to market yourself. So, like, one of the things I did with my wife's business is it was a company called Blip. I think Blip billboards. So we have these billboards in our area, and it was a company called Blip Billboards, and you could literally market yourself on the billboard, and they were rotated in, and it was almost like a Google ad thing. And then you could select the different locations of their digital billboards where you wanted your ad to show. So we just did a little blast of digital billboards just showing her business name, and that generated a lot. Now, at the same time, her Google page, that generates a lot of interest for her. So you have to really target your audience. And we ran the billboard ads during the time when we knew people who would want to get their hair done would be in the car, in traffic. We didn't run them when they was at work, but we knew they would be going to lunch. We would have them ran between 11 and 1. We knew they would be in the car, so we would run them from 4 to 6, sometimes 4 to 7. And then on the weekends when we knew they would be out, grocery shopping and stuff like that, and they would see those ads and they're like, oh, okay. And repetition. So we made sure we understood where the target audience would be at, and that's where we focus our attention. So that's what you have to do. And that should work for you across the board. All right, what's the next question?
Miss O, or the Miss O, my bad. The Miss O said, do y'all recommend adding another service if not fully versed in loan signing? I want to add officiant services, but I'm still learning NSA stuff. Now, my opinion be different from, other people in the world, but personally, I always teach people to focus on one service at a time. Even though with general notary work, to be honest, like general notary work and loan signing kind of can go hand in hand when you're setting up your business. But I do believe teaching one service, because a lot of times what people do is, because they're not receiving work because they didn't do the work, they will just go on and add another service. But the thing is, sometimes when you actually do that, really what you're doing is you're never going to go anywhere, because you're going to have the same issue no matter what service you provide. You can, if you're not receiving loan signing work, and then you go, oh, I'm not getting the work because you only did a little bit of work. And then you be like, oh, I'm going to do weddings. And then you're not getting that work. And then all you're going to do is just go to another service until you feel like something comes easy to you, instead of really spending your time focusing on how to get more clients. Like I used to, I had to be with this guy at one time, right? He used to like, when I didn't receive phone calls, he'd be like, well, you need to figure out how to get your phone ringing. He didn't tell me to go, start a whole new business or something or like that, and that's just entrepreneurship in general, especially if you start a YouTube channel, like, well, no one's watching my videos. Well, what can you do to get more people to watch your videos? It's all about mastering one craft, one service. And when you master that one, then you can apply those skills to the other services. So I don't necessarily teach people to jump from service to service. I truly believe in figuring out that one service that you want to do and figuring out how you can turn it into a business to where so it can be your main thing, and then everything else can just be extra things you do on the side. What you guys say, Griff?
No, you're absolutely right. One of the guys that I follow on YouTube named Jesprit Singh, he talks about, people always talk about having all these multiple streams of income. And he said, in all honesty, you can really only be good at one, maybe two. And you have to find out what that one or two is, because the other multiple streams, if they require your time, now you're constantly being divided amongst all of these. So you can't have multiple streams of income that require all of this time from you. So that's why I'm just sticking right now. For me, I'm sticking with the signing service, because if I was to add in direct, that might divide too much of my time up. There's a couple of people who I know I could probably get with, but then it's going to pull too much in the other different direction. Plus I have my IT consulting business while I'm building websites. So I have that avenue of money that I need to stay focused on. And then I do the house inspections, and there's other aspects of home inspections or the house inspection, field inspections that people share with me. But when I look into them, I'm like, okay, that's going to take too much time. So I have to, got to be sometimes satisfied with the amount of money that you're making. And if you get real good at what you're doing, that will cover you and fill you, because the more you start making, and again, if you don't have the infrastructure within yourself to handle $8,000, $10,000, $12,000 a month, you'll have that money come in, and then at the end of the next month, you'll be like, where did it all go? So, I know people who they don't even make note that they even receive checks from the companies, and then they start calling companies up, where's this money you supposed to send me? And they're like, well, we sent that to you 2 months ago and you cashed it on this date. So if you can't even remember when you received a payment and didn't even do anything to denote that you deposited the money, that's a problem. That's a problem, because now your accounting is all jacked up. Like I got 3 signings tomorrow. After that, the next, until between the 2nd and the 5th, all I'm doing is getting all of my accounting stuff straight for the last month and getting everything set up for July. Now, yeah, I'm missing out on some signings, but I know it's more important right now for what I got going on, that I need to make sure my accounting's straight, because I don't want to be behind on that. And there's been times where I've stayed up to 2-3 o'clock in the morning to make sure that accounting part is straight, so that when I need to pay bills, I can pay the bills and not be worried about where this money or overdrafting. You do not want to overdraft. I'm telling you. So yeah. Now, real quick.
One more thing before there's one more thing too. So another thing too, I know, and the only way sometimes I'll add on another service is if I'm receiving phone calls for a particular service a lot, then that is something, then I will spend my energy and time on making sure that I'm set up to do that service. So that is another instance where I would add like another service. So like, I personally don't do weddings, but if I receive 3 calls a day about me doing a wedding, you know, I may not do it, but I would definitely put myself in position to where as though I have someone on call that I can give that do weddings, you know. So that's another way on how you can gauge your services. To be honest, that's one thing I believe in, because like I said, I didn't do general notary work at one point in time. I just did loan signings. But if I'm receiving 4 or 5 calls a day on general notary work, you know, it just makes sense to do it. To be honest, might as well do it. And I just went and just added that, you know, I just made sure I was ready to take payments, had a way to send receipts, and then I just was able to do the service.
Yeah. And this link that I'm putting up there, this is about fidelity approval, because people keep asking that question. Read that article from Notary Stars. It talks about fidelity approval and everything you need to know. If push comes to shove, if you really, I'm trying to see if I can find.
Who's that win-win? Is that spam? Is that someone spamming you?
What? Who? Where?
Right there, that I win that bet bonus.
Ooh, let me.
In the comments. Hey.
Oh.
You see him?
Yep. All right. Well, they blocked now.
Okay, because I'm over here trying to help out the people, and he keep with the comments. You know, I'm trying to respond.
Yeah. Right. So. All right. So, and Shanosha, your stuff isn't connecting. So you need to connect your camera and microphone, whatever device you're on. But the fidelity approval, and let me share with this here. The best way to do it, contact BankServe, call them, and they can answer your questions about fidelity approval and what it all means. But that link that I gave you is one of the ones that I read, and it explains everything you need to know. Well, I won't say everything. It explains a lot of what you need to know, understand about fidelity approval. So hold on one second. Let me pull this up. Because one of the things you have to do, you're going to have to, when you don't know the answer to something, you're going to have to take the time out and look it up. And that's all I do. I'm like, okay. And it tells you the stuff that you need to understand about how this works. And it says there's signing services that existed before Fidelity switched to BankServe and are still existing and can also get approved through their service. So basically it's saying, from what we currently know, since the inception of BankServe, Fidelity is no longer approving notaries or signing agencies directly on a regular basis. Only existing notaries and signing services who kept their approval renewal on time before this rule started a few years ago is an exception. So read this article so you can have a better understanding of it, but don't let that be a showstopper for you because you're not Fidelity approved or anything, because I don't get a whole lot of Fidelity approved offers. I really don't. And even the ones that do come through BankServe, it's so many other notaries out here now. I can't even get the orders. By the time I log into the app, which the app is very slow, the order's gone. And literally sometimes if I do get a order through them, I literally just have to say yes, hoping that I'm not double booked. And that has got you, Sonosha. And that has happened many times where I just want to get the order, and Fidelity, they pay good. Now you can have a real estate agent that if you on BankServe, they can request you. So if you're already on BankServe and they need a Fidelity approved notary, they can request you. And that's what happened to me once before that, they requested me. So it can work that way. All right. What's the next question? I'm seeing if I can find one.
We got a lot of questions, Griff, that we missed.
All right. See, that's why I need people to call in so they won't get
like calling in.
But people be going to bed tonight talking about, man, they didn't answer my question. You could have called in, but man, they didn't answer my question. I typed it one time at 7:30 before they got on. Call in, folks.
I guess they be spoiled. Maybe I'll be spoiling people because I read in all the comments for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But do YouTube block comments? Because I know a lot of times mine will block people's comments and I won't see it until after the live.
All right, so I'm scrolling back up to see if I can find. Let me see. All right, this one here. When you see orders on SnapDocs, even if you don't get it, look up the company, call them, and see how you can. Well, from a signing company, they said if you want to be a preferred agent, do the work first.
Agreed, because they're going to give it to you. They're going to give it to you. Like,
if you do the work first, you can't. I mean, you
never gotta ask.
Yeah, you ain't gotta ask to make me preferred. Okay, I mean, think about it. Think about it logically. Make me preferred, meaning you prefer me over everybody else. What have you done to be preferred? That's what you have to ask yourself. And if you're saying, well, I done spent all this money in this business and I've been trying for months, I need to. Preferred don't always mean more money. It ain't like, oh, you're preferred, so you're going to get $25 extra. It just means they're going to consider you first. But what makes you preferred is your ability to do the work and do it accurately. And then all of the ancillary things that come along with doing the order. I got instructions that I have to follow. I don't even know if I still have them up, but yeah, I have instructions that I got to follow. Matter of fact, let me show y'all so y'all can understand how serious.
You don't never have to ask to be a preferred notary. Like you're going to know, like when you become a preferred notary, after you do this closing, they're going to send you, they will send you an email like, hey, is it okay? I want to put you on our preferred notary vendor list. Okay. And you're just going to become one. So asking for one, I don't know. But if you do a good job, you communicate throughout the whole signing, you make sure that the closing is done properly, like making sure that you're really thorough, you can become the preferred notary signing agent for any signing company. But it just goes back to you doing the job, and not even just doing the job, going above and beyond. I know what you call them, pandemic
notaries.
Pandemic notaries, holding documents because scan backs. To be honest, I have this rule of scanning documents. If a loan closing is done on a Friday, even if they don't ask for scan backs, I will always scan the documents on Friday because I know that the title company is not going to see those loan documents till Monday. Mm-hmm. And normally, if you can scan those documents in before 4:30, before they get off, they're going to appreciate that. And they're going to be like, okay, thank you, ma'am. And they're going to be happy. So now they can sleep on the weekend knowing that, now they're just waiting for the documents to come in the mail. They already know they're correct because they looked at them Friday. Mm-hmm. So that is the tip, for everyone that's on here.
And if you look at the screen, people, This here's a set of instructions. It's telling you everything you need to know. This is what makes you preferred. Doing the notarizations correctly, it tells you at the closing table, if the borrower have questions, you must call or email the number below. It did not say that you're supposed to try to answer the questions for them and show how smart you are because you memorize the NNA loan source document, or you memorize those documents that you spent $180 some for that you shouldn't have paid for in the first place. I'm not being funny, but that's just what's been going on. So you
somebody selling loan documents?
Yes, people selling loan documents.
Where? On the internet?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. I don't be in the group, so I don't be knowing.
This is what people have called and told me.
Oh, wow.
One lady called me because she had an order. It was 150 pages, and she turned it down after getting the documents because the documents she paid for were only 20 pages. So she thought the 20-page document that she paid for was an actual loan packet, a full loan packet. So when she got the 150 pages, it freaked her out, and she canceled the order after getting the documents because she's like, there was documents that I had never seen before, so I didn't know what to do because she had memorized the 20, and that's why I stopped helping people by giving them loan doc, because I realized people are memorizing these documents thinking that this one set of loan documents is what you're going to see from every single company, and that's not the case. But this tells me here, no later than 1 after accepting the order must call to confirm. Scan bus must be uploaded to signing order within 2 hours. Your scan backs are uploaded later. You must contact them to let them know what time the documents will be uploaded. Only ship the documents in the polyplastic packing. Do not use cardboard. Please print the borrower copy of documents. Use blue ink. Print the documents on a PDF size unless otherwise specified. If you're running late, communicate with both the borrowers and precise signing. If for any reason the signing is canceled or rescheduled, the notary must contact so-and-so. Immediate assistant, contact so-and-so. If you have document questions or a notary looking for documents, please contact so-and-so. So there are tons of notaries that see these instructions and they just do what they want to do. Oh, I didn't know I was supposed to scan back. I didn't. Did you read the instructions?
You're right. But you know what? Even so, that goes back into people really paying attention, because there are situations also where, the signing company will call you and they'll say they have this closing. And then when they say they have the closing, then they say, they tell you everything that you're going to do, but then you find out that there's more stuff, They might want to travel to different locations or scan backs, but that's why it's important for you to ask those questions on the phone. Now, I always if I see something like that where in the instructions, they're like, oh, you need to fax this. And then I'm like, well, I will always call back to just verify, do you want me to fax or you want me to scan it? And if it is, if you want to charge more for faxing, because, that's an expense, you can. Yeah. Or if they don't want to agree, this don't have to be assigned.
All right. So Miss O, Miss T, D, Miss O, and Caroline. All right. We'll go with Caroline. I think she hopped in first. What you got, Caroline?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yay. Very good. Mine's a little bit different. So I've already gone through several trainings. We're among friends here, right?
Yes.
I can't figure out loan signings. I'm no longer going to try to figure out loan signings. At this point, I just want to know how to do the best I can with building up just GNW. I have taken several courses, and I really feel bad because I follow you. And I remember you saying, I think I'm paraphrasing, of course, but I think you said something like, well, this isn't rocket science. I'm like, oh, hand up. It is. I can't. And I think I probably, and I will say to people who are brand new, another reason to stay off those groups, I started with those groups and I swear, I think it just overwhelmed me. But at this point, I mean, I have the loan book from NNA, but I swear I can't make any of that stuff make sense. And I don't think it has anything to do with the training. I think I just need to accept that's just not a path for me.
Well, let me ask you this here. what is it that you want? What is it that you think you're supposed to know and understand in order to do the loan closing?
The documents that have to be signed.
Okay. Now, when you say the documents that has to be signed, what about the documents do you feel you need to know before you let the people sign them?
Who needs to sign? Like, for instance, now it's been a
Okay.
while since I actually looked at the material, but I know there's this one weird page, I think it's the 1003, where sometimes the non-borrowing spouse signs and sometimes they don't. That's like one
Okay.
example.
Okay, that's real simple. That's real simple. Here's the deal. One of the things that people have an issue with is trying to understand who's supposed to sign what. So who is the borrower? The borrower is easily figured out by looking at the promissory note.
Right.
The promissory note has the borrower's names on there. So if the borrower's names are on the promissory note, meaning John Jones and Jane Jones, then that's who needs to sign the documents that talks about borrowers. That's where it's at. So if you look at the promissory note, if you're like, well, who's supposed to sign this document? Well, first of all, a lot of times it will have their names on the document. So it will have both couples' names on the document if they're going to be signing it. On this, go ahead on, LaShawn.
I understand what she, really what she's. I understand what she's saying. So like the problem, well, it's not the problem, but like now they have a new loan application, but what it is, it's like the financing of it. So there's certain situations like what they call the spousal states, right? Like Texas is one of them,
right?
Where a husband can purchase a house using his credit, right? But on the documents, right, on all the finance documents, you will only see his name, but you will see the wife's name on the deed.
Right.
You'll see it on. You probably will see a signature affidavit where she has to sign. Now on the new loan application, on that old one, it was a bit complicated because you probably really didn't know if the spouse should sign the loan application or not. But on the new one, it's very clear on who. If that non-borrowing spouse will sign that loan application, it's very clear now. But I mean, I can understand why if you don't want to do loan signings, that's cool. To each his own. It's a lot of printing and all that, and I get that. It's okay, and there's nothing wrong with this doing general notary work. The thing is to get set up for general notary work, you just create your Google business page, create a website. Make sure your website is done correctly.
Sure.
The services that you want to offer, the type of documents that you notarize, and pick a social media platform. Most likely, probably Facebook is like the best one.
Okay.
And figure out how you can target a specific audience. You can actually go out and market yourself if you want. Hand out your business cards at different business locations. But really, the biggest thing is just setting up that Google business page and having a website and having a way where people can contact you to make appointments.
Right. So
Okay.
Yes.
Let me ask you this. If somebody brought you a will or a power of attorney, how do you figure out who's supposed to sign that?
Good question.
Because the reason why I'm asking that is because a lot of people think that they're supposed to have some kind of in-depth knowledge or some kind of way to figure out who's supposed to do what on a loan application, but yet you get a will, power of attorney, or what have you. It's the same process. You look at the document, you see who's supposed to sign it, and then you have them sign it. That is really it. But we get caught up, and somebody has made people believe that when it comes to a loan document, there's a different requirement outside of what your state said that you're supposed to do with notarizations. And now you're supposed to know certain things and concepts of this loan packet. The loan packet is nothing but a collection of individual documents that are all put together, because some of them documents can stand alone by themselves, like the deed and the note.
Right.
So if you're trying to figure out who's supposed to sign the borrower's consent for tax return, well, who signed the tax return?
Right.
And then sometimes, unfortunately, even though only the husband or the wife signed the tax return on that borrower's consent for tax return, they may still ask the spouse. to sign
Correct.
that. And if they do, and the person in front of you have a question about that or concern, then you call the people and say, hey, they just want to verify why the spouse needs to sign this when they didn't sign the tax return. That's all you have to do. It's not on you to try to figure out and be the answer key concerning these loan documents when these people because there are documents that you will get, and they will basically there'll be a document that will be in there that's actually what you would consider a title document. So let me share this on the screen for you real quick. And it's only showing one name, but this happens a lot. So like this document here is the line of credit closeout. The borrower is John Q. Public. But sometimes they will still put the spouse name. This is coming from, sometimes this is coming from the title company or maybe coming from the lender. Okay. But what it is, they want both of them to sign it, acknowledging that they know that this line of credit is going to be closed out.
Yes. And
the reason why is because she may try to draw on it.
Yes.
Okay, so she may have drawing rights on it, but here's the problem. They will put her name up here where it says borrower. They won't sometimes put borrower / non-borrower. So if a person has a problem, say, wait a minute, why my wife Jan is up here where it says borrower? She's not a borrower on the loan. Now you just call the title company and say, hey, they need clarification on this.
Why?
You see what I'm saying? That's how I handled that. But if you're trying to well, I don't know how to figure out who's supposed to sign what. Mainly whoever's the borrower, that's who signs it. Right. Now, one of the things sorry. No, you go ahead on, lady.
I think it, like I said, sometimes it's just because these are, of course, naturally what if scenarios, but I want to be prepared. But again, honestly, it comes from being in a group and someone poses a question and I'm like, oh my God. And
challenge them on it.
Challenge
them on those questions. If they post something, if somebody said, prove it, give you some receipts. Because people are in these Facebook groups and other groups and they're hearing this stuff and these people don't know any more than you. So my question is, and I don't understand why people are so apt to listen and be influenced by these people who they personally don't know.
Right.
And it's like, well, they said this about the documents. They said this about doing a loan closing.
Right. It's not so much that. It's honestly just some of these people have been doing this a while, and something may come up and they're not familiar with it. It's really not even so much about the interacting of who says what. It's more just about the plethora of questions that come in, seasoned, unseasoned, and just looking at those questions make my head spin.
Don't look at them.
Yeah, I don't do no Facebook groups at all.
Don't look at them. That's what I'm saying, y'all. My success, I keep telling people, my success, and we're gonna get to you, Miss O. My success has been because I was not involved in Facebook groups to tell me a bunch of stuff. If you really look at these Facebook groups, a lot of the advice in there is telling you what you can't do and what you shouldn't do to make money. They're directing you on all of this stuff, giving you all of these restrictions. And if you follow their advice, you won't make any money. They will scare you. They will tell you, oh, do this. But when you try to do those things, it will really hinder you and paralyze you from being able to make money. You need to challenge them or leave them alone. If you're going to listen to them, then you need to challenge them. Anybody who you listen to, and that includes me. I don't know if you want to challenge LaShawn, but you may.
You can challenge me. I'm just going to send you the resource.
But anybody, and the reason why I say this because I get challenged a lot. And I'm like, this isn't to you, Miss Caroline, but to a lot of people up here, I say, well, if you're challenging me, then why aren't you challenging those people who are extracting money from notaries at $300, $400, $500 and aren't giving them anything of value?
Right.
You're not challenging them, but you're challenging me or LaShawn or someone else who's trying to help you genuinely That's who you need to challenge, the person who's giving you this bad information. And what I've learned is that most people, when they hear that information, those pieces of advice, they're like, I don't know. And then they call somebody, but then at the same time, but they was in my Facebook group. So if you're going to call me and I tell you, here's the truth and give you proof of the truth, but then you're like, but they said it in Facebook, then look, don't call me no more. Because you're not going to convince me to believe that mess that they're saying.
Sure.
Now, your focus should be on, again, like I've said, LaShawn said, if you understand how to properly notarize, if questions come up, you redirect those questions, just like the instructions I just showed you. The instruction said, contact them.
Right.
And if you do that, you know, if you're trying to put the weight of this loan closing on yourself, that it is your responsibility and your job to ensure that this loan closing happen, that is not right. That is not your job to ensure that it happens, because you didn't even know this loan closing was going down until you got the order that same day or a couple of other days ago. You see what I'm saying? So how is it that it's your responsibility to ensure that this loan closing gets done, but yet it's not your responsibility to make sure that the people who have a will or a power of attorney or some other document that needs to be notarized, it's not your responsibility to make sure they sign those?
Yes.
That's the question that I was asking myself, and that's the question that I put out there to y'all.
Okay.
You see?
Yes.
What else you got, Caroline, before we go to Ms. O?
Okay, the other thing is I just started a brand new opportunity on Monday. And this is another reason why I want to make sure I take the direct path. I know Keisha, who actually did really well as branding herself as an after hours VA. She's probably one of the probably the most successful, like, you know, restricted hours only. And I'm going to need to have I'm going to have the need to set up a similar situation. Like, I can work from 6 to midnight and any time on the weekend and a holiday that I am not in. That was another reason why I wasn't sure if it really made a difference, if I thought I could give myself one more chance to really learn this. And if I do, I'm in Virginia, such as yourself. Who do you suggest I go to this time? Because I'm thinking maybe it's just a training material.
Just come to me.
Okay, Griff.
Just come to me.
Okay.
If I can't help you, then we'll both quit the business.
Okay.
How about that?
Okay.
If I can't help you, if I can't get you going, if I can't help you to get the focus and the right perspective on this here to where you can go out here and do this, then we'll just both quit. And then I'll just have to tell the wife, and I don't know how she gonna take that, but I do.
It ain't gonna happen, Griff. You got her. You don't even gotta worry about that.
I know that. You know doggone well, because I am have me sleeping out there in that grass. Nope.
Be in the doghouse.
Well, I actually all right. Well, can we have an offline discussion at another time then?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So Miss O, go for it.
Well, I have a praise report and a question. So I know you wanted verbal praise reports. I listen to you because, like you said, last minute notary doesn't fit my business model, and it's uncomfortable for me because it's just my daughter and everything. But I stepped out and was uncomfortable because the company I had been on, the auto signing company, I had been on their list since I got my commission, probably so for like maybe 8 months now. I had been on their list, hadn't heard from them. Just kind of thought, oh, well, I had called to do an update. It wasn't received well, and I just let it go. Well, they called me at the last minute here recently, a while back, maybe like, I guess, a month and a half ago now, to do a auto signing in my zip code. And I really couldn't do it, but I remembered you saying those last minute assignments will be a game changer. So I went ahead and just dropped what I was doing. I did it. Since then, I've gotten like 4 calls back to back to do auto signings, and they literally take me about maybe 12 to 13 minutes and pay like $100 a pop. So it's like, and then of course they overnight the paperwork.
Gotcha.
So it's like I don't have to print, FedEx, overnight paperwork, and it's just golden. So I just wanted to thank you for that, because it's not full loan signings as much, but I don't get those as much, but those have been coming in more, so if I had never stepped out and did that, I wouldn't have ever gotten in a link with them. So since I did her that favor, she said she's going to look out for me. And so far, if she has some in her area, she calls me. And so I wanted to do that for the praise report. And then the second thing is, I know it sounds weird, but I'm with like a big company that a lot of people said the new people wouldn't get with. But if you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to find a way to do it. And so I was able to do it, but I was also cautious because I don't want to make mistakes with them when they may be, caught. So I'm real careful with that. I've been getting mostly only post-closing work. That's all I get pretty much. And I really want more full loan signing packages for the practice. But like my husband was like, why are you asking for 150 page package when you getting paid the same thing for 2 or 3 pages? I said, I know, but I just feel like I'm not getting practice. I'm just curious if it's a way or if it's out of turn for me to even call them and be like, I mean, I know they don't have a post-closing department. They should have one. But I just love the post-closing. So would it be out of turn to call and be like, is there a way I could be a niche person in this area for all the post-closing? Because I love the post-closing.
I don't see no reason why you can't. I mean, it doesn't hurt to try. The worst thing they can do is say yes.
Yeah.
So if you have that attitude that the worst thing they could do is say yes, if they tell you no, then it's like, all right. But see, here's the thing. If you at least ask, they may never thought of it. And you planted the seed in their brain, and then something comes up, and then they're like, hey, just like I tell people all the time, and I keep getting to really push this, when an order comes in and you can't do it at that particular time, say another time. If you can do it at another time, say it. And I've gotten so many orders where people say, hey, we saw it, we assigned this to somebody else, but they can't do it at that time, or the signers really couldn't do it at that time, and that notary who originally had it for 5 can't do it at 7, but you said you could do it at 6:30. Can you slide in at 7 o'clock? Yes, I can do that. So if you don't tell them that, hey, I'm available to do it at this time. I've even had orders come in and say, look, I can't do it at 3 o'clock, but I can do it at noon. And sometimes I get it. They'll be like, okay, you know what? Coordinate with the signers. You go ahead on and coordinate with the signers and see if they can do that at noon. And if they can't, then let us know and we'll get it and we'll send it back out. And there's no harm, no foul, and they don't hem you up over that because you're trying. You see what I'm saying? You're trying and everything. And that's what I've done. Twiggy, you had something? Anything else, Miss O?
Oh no, that's all. Thank you. I'll give you feedback and let you know how that go.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
That's Miss O.
The Miss O.
Right. Come on, Griff. The Miss O.
Okay, so you can sit there and modify people's names when you all tongue tied, but I can't. Okay.
Thank y'all so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
What you got, Miss Twiggy?
Oh,
I'm good. Just taking in all this good information.
And like what she's saying here, TXB for you, my lady out there in Las Vegas. Trustee verbiage, that is one that you really got to make sure you contact the title company on, because I've seen it dealt with 3 ways. Either they want them just to sign their name, or sign their name and trustee, so John Jones as trustee, or they may say that whole trustee verbiage that is underneath the signature line, and that trustee verbiage that's underneath the signature line has to be in your notarial statement. So you contact the title company and you ask them, how do y'all want this done? And trust me, you want to do that, because one time I forgot to do that, and I had the person sign it the full outright, and I missed this instruction. I don't know how I did, but I missed the instruction that said have them just sign their name. And they weren't too happy with me, but they didn't stop using me and everything. but they were like, "Hey, we know you do good work, and what happened?" And I said, "You know what? That was on me. I missed. I saw the instruction, but it just didn't click in my head because I had just done a trustee one the day before that required all of that, and that was the thing that was in my head. And the guy was like, "Don't worry about it." I said, "Just let me know if y'all need me to go back out, and I will." What you got, Shinosha?
Y'all can hear me?
Yes.
Hey.
Oh my goodness. Y'all, when y'all click on StreamYard, just accept it. Just accept the mic and the camera. Because I thought I could just accept the mic by itself. So now I'm on a whole nother device. But I'm so happy that I got on here before the night was at a close. Um, it's so good to see you two together. My question is, well, first I want to say I found out that Google Voice works because I got my first Google Voice message today at 5:30, but it was a Cali number and his name was Michael. It was very vague. And he just said he just noticed I was a notary and had a question for me. So my whole thing is if I'm only on sign up order and no signing agent and SnapDocs, who is this calling me? Is it a signing service? Is it general notary? Or is it just, how do you vet calls from, I guess, signing agent and your public profiles? How do you vet them to know when you call them?
Well, I will say that there are people who will call you scamming, pretending like, yeah, I have this client, and then they say, yeah, we're going to send you documents. And I ask questions, I ask them, give me specific, I ask them, okay, who is this? What company you're working for? Let me check my schedule. Okay. I'll get back with you. And I'm like, okay, email me all of your company information. Email me everything I need to know about this here signer, about the signing or whatever you want me to do. And you can even say from the standpoint, say, look, I'm about to go into a signing, whether you're going into one or not, they don't know. I'm about to go into a signing. Email me at this email address. And don't even tell them, you just say, you have my email address, right? And then you can ask them to repeat it to you to see if they actually have it.
Okay. Yeah, because I was so excited, and somebody was like, well, they only gave you your name. Another notary was like, well, they only gave you a name, and it's a California number, you're in Michigan. They probably found you on the public profile. Because I was able to find myself on SnapDocs, and I just wanted to verify that it was showing. So I just go on the website, and you can look yourself up. And depending on how you search it, whether it be by city or zip code, depends on how far you down on the page. But I am SnapDocs to verify. And I haven't done my first loan signing, but I do plan on signing up for, like the other directories and signing services. But I just got my first phone call today. So I was just wondering, should I not just be that excited and just vet them really well and find out what they want? And it was just my first call. So I was like, okay, well, at least I know my Google Voice number works. And that's why I basically just got on here today just to talk about that, just to see if it was legit. So I think you answered all my questions on that. And I appreciate also the other questions you provided earlier, which kind of tagged on to it when you were speaking about the interviewing questions. That kind of like tagged onto it too as well, the things to ask when you're getting incoming calls. So yeah, that was it. I could have put it in the chat, but I was like, you know what? He didn't put the StreamYard link in here a couple times. Let me just click on it. So I do appreciate you guys. I do. And Ms. Jenkins, I watch you faithfully. And I appreciate the insight and the information you guys bring to us on a regular basis. So thank you so much.
You're welcome, Shinosha. You're number one. You always, when I post a video, you always come with your fire, with your flames on the video.
Yeah, that means I love y'all and the topic is hot. I love y'all and the topic is hot. Keep it simple. But yeah, I do appreciate this. Yeah, y'all could have saw me, but I mean, you probably saw the top of my head at first because I didn't
I don't even know what you look like. I just always see your name.
You know what? Yeah, maybe next time. But yeah, I'm inside, so but it was nice to get on here and chat with you guys. I do appreciate the information y'all bring to the table. So thank you guys.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So yeah, the main thing is you are responsible for your business. And just do the due diligence. I will say this here, and I know I might get some flack for it, but there are people out here on this earth, whether you're in the notary business or not, there are people on this earth that will take advantage of your unwillingness or your inability to do stuff for yourself. They will take advantage if you are a procrastinator, a person who's lazy when it comes to really doing stuff for yourself. If you're a person who prefer to have someone else do things, you want to wait till everybody else does it and then you'll hop into it. People who have that vibe are easy to be taken advantage of because somebody will present a way to make you think that you are going to get something exclusive, something special, something that no one else has, even though they're promoting it on their YouTube in front of everybody else. But you think you're getting it. You're thinking you're getting a secret that nobody else in your city is getting. You're getting, and they done took your money. And what's the easiest way to make money out here? Like, it's basically to do stuff that somebody will not do or cannot do for themselves. And that's really what people pay people money for. I'm gonna pay you money for what I cannot or will not do for myself. If you will not fix your own car or cannot fix your own car, what do? You pay somebody else to do it. There's nothing wrong with that. That's legitimate. But when certain things within your business that you probably should be doing for yourself, and then you're constantly paying somebody else for that. And the main thing is the obtaining of knowledge, obtaining the knowledge that you're supposed to have for your business. You can pay somebody for a certain level of knowledge, but there's still some knowledge that you need to obtain on your own. And then you take what somebody else is offering and you pull it together with what you've obtained to verify whether or not it's even right. So it's like, okay, good. And that's all I do. And then I bounce it off of people. But if you're a shortcut person, like I said last night, how you handle yourself in your W-2 will determine how you handle yourself in your business. If you are not that good at your W-2, if you're lazy with your W-2, if you're not that studious with your W-2, you're not going to be that way here. If you don't even do stuff right the way you need to do within your own household, you can that carries over into it. Just like a guy, you hook up with a guy or a girl. Let's just say a guy, old girl is always on the phone, always on the phone. Always on the phone. And then you think because y'all got married, she's gonna stop being on the phone with her girls?
Right.
He's always going out to hang out with the fellas, hang out with the fellas. And then you get married, and then what's one of the arguments? Why you always gone? Well, I was going out before we got married. He wasn't a homebody before you got married. So if you don't handle your finances right in your W-2, and all of a sudden let's just say you take these trainings and they work for you, and you start popping in 10, 15, 17, $20,000 a month, and you have no financial literacy at all. What do you think is going to happen to you and all that money? And then if you have a spouse, a dude that like to buy Jordans every 10 minutes, all he sees is, okay, that's some new Jordan money. Or your wife, okay, we going on another trip to Cancun. So every month she's taking 10 of your 20 and going down to the Bahamas, you see what I'm saying? So you got to have some financial literacy about yourself. And this is real stuff that's going on in people's lives. Do not think that just because you come into this notary business that you're going to it can instantly change your life if you get the right connections. But don't think that it's going to be like your personality is going to change, because all it's going to do is bring out who you really are. So some of these notary trainers, who all of a sudden, these people out here, even just these notaries and these quote unquote mentors, as I call them, these fake mentors, they start seeing that money come in, and then next thing you know, they all brand new. They all acting like, well, if you want to talk to me, for every time, if you want me to call you, for every time I press a button on my cell phone, that's going to be, $50, because that's who they are. That money is revealing who they are. And at that point in time, that's when you gotta extract yourself from them. You gotta be like, you know what? I'm out. You can't, I'm serious. And I hate to say it that way, but in any other area of your life, you would do that. I mean, you ladies have been around, you and your girl, y'all cool, and then all of a sudden she married some dude that got some bank on him, and then all of a sudden she's special. She can't hang out with you to the Walmart no more. Oh no, I don't go to Walmart. I go to Target. You know what I'm saying? And they do all that kind of stuff.
Don't talk about my Target. Hold on.
See, she don't hang out with me no more because she go to Target.
I love Target.
But what I'm saying is, y'all know that there are people that once their financial situation changes to something that they feel is better than the next person, you or anybody else, then you really see what they're all about. And then next thing you know, 6-7 months later, when old boy say, you know what, I'm tired of you spending up $20,000 a month on nothing, and leave her butt high and dry. Now she be ready to go back to Walmart with you. And y'all know this kind of stuff happens because y'all looked at Basketball Wives and everything else, and Real Housewives, because that's all that's in there. Y'all know that. And the Real Housewives of Texas and everything.
Atlanta, sir. I used to watch Atlanta.
Yeah, but they got one in Texas too.
I have a question in regards to the loan signing services. The LSA, if you do some work for one of those loan signing services that's out there, and you never get paid for the work that you accepted, the assignment that you accepted from them, is there a platform or some kind of group where other LSAs post these fraudulent loan signing services that, maybe they accept an assignment and they never receive payment from them, or having trouble with their payment?
Yeah, there is a person out there who made something called notaryreviews.com.
Mm-hmm.
And on that particular group, she is particular about who can get in there, and I think it is a paid thing. But it does, she created it because of companies who didn't pay. But to be honest, like, I believe in like energy and stuff like that. And I truly didn't focus on companies that did not pay. I just never will focus or even think about someone not paying me. Now, I did have a situation where someone was, I'm not gonna say they didn't pay me, but they were. I felt like, they weren't trying to pay me. And there's certain things that you can do so that you can get your payment. Somebody said the BBB, but me personally, like what had worked for me in my situation, I always do everything in black and white in emails. Because before you can go and try to press charges, or not charges, but before you can file a case, like a civil case, you have to show that in black and white that you did attempt to collect your funds before you can go actually report it to someone.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm real paranoid about being on internet and talking about some things like that, because you just never know who looking, and I don't trust no one like that 100% online. But what I did was, one, I sent them about 3 emails, asking about my payment. Now, they didn't say nothing, but then after that, I ended up sending a demand letter to them, to all the email addresses that I had. And, I got an email that night. I mean, I got a paycheck that night. When I sent that demand email, letting them know, um, you know, it's been 30. Well, it was like about almost 6 months, and I sent them the demand email and I told them that what I was going to do. I gave them 3 days to respond to that email. But when I sent that, because nobody wants to go to court, nobody
Right.
wants to go to court and pay. So that's exactly what I did. I sent that email out, and when I sent that email out, I did get my payment that night. You know,
Wow.
yeah, they
Okay.
weren't answering the phone because people understand black and white. They don't understand calls. So as long as you have a way that you're tracking, that you are contacting them, and you have given them enough time, you should be able to. You'll be fine. But that's how I handle those situations. Like me personally, I never got into that notary review thing, and I don't have nothing against it or anything like that. But I am a person of like I really do focus on like the energy. I believe if you think about certain things, it will come to you 100%. Not saying that there's not companies out there that's not paying, but I am a person of like if you believe what you attract. If you think you're not gonna get paid, you is not gonna get paid. So I always focus on companies that paid. And to be honest, I just started another thing too, is work with the companies that are paying you well, becoming that preferred notary signing agent. So that way you don't have to worry about taking all these assignments from different companies because you have companies that are feeding you all the time, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all I have.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, now push come to shove, I mean, y'all can slide me some money, give me an address, and you know, just know that I'll get your money for you somehow, some way. Okay. All
I'll
right.
keep it in my back pocket.
That's all. That's all. I'll send y'all a special account that can't be traced, and you just, or I'll just go get the money. All I need is the information. I get the money for you, and don't worry about the rest. Just know somehow or another that money will be extracted from them. No,
And sometimes you will have to call, like there's been
yeah.
situations too where a signing company actually, if they're a legit person, they actually thought they paid me, or they
Yep.
the check was sent out, but I never received it. And if they're really a good company, a good person, I'm telling you, they're going. I don't know what company it was, but the guy, I told him I didn't get my paycheck, and he said, "I sent it. You sure?" And I said, "Yeah." He went to his Bank of America and he emailed me a check, and I got my check like within 2 business days. And he called to follow up with me to make sure I got my check. So sometimes you have to just really communicate, but I'm definitely big on black and white and putting things in paper because trust me, nobody wants to really truly go to court over $90 check because a $90 check can turn into you can go in there pain, suffering, pain. Somebody got to pay court costs.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you ain't trying to pay court costs because you didn't even get your $90. And you wouldn't be in court if it wasn't for them. And and that might be something they gotta pay. So nobody wants to go to court. So, that's just some little things that I do, myself when people give a problem.
Mm-hmm.
No problem. Griff, I'm tired.
All right.
I'm young. Then they back again with the account. They is not playing. I don't report them.
Yep, I'm reporting them right now.
They is not playing. That must be one of the Facebook group people on this.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, everyone, y'all have an amazing night.
Yep. All right.
Bye,
Anybody else got anything? She may be going to bounce out, but if y'all need me to hang on here for a little while, because she young, the millennials, they can't hang up there like us old cats,
Now y'all don't want me. I don't need to be up after 11 o'clock. Nope. I need to be laying down somewhere. When the next one?
That's a good question. I'm gonna let that be on you.
Who, me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the next Q&A. You want to do a Q&A session?
I mean, that's up to you. I mean, I figured since I had took these 2 days off, and then I know the weekend coming up, I'm not doing anything, so I figured everybody's going to be chilling for for the holidays and stuff. So nobody's going to really be looking at YouTube and stuff. So I figured
they always going to be on YouTube. People always on. Probably maybe after my training. Maybe after my training class. After the 10th. No. After the 15th. I have to recuperate from the training.
See, young folk always got to recuperate.
That's how we keep looking young, sir.
You know what? this right here is my recuperation. White chocolate macadamia nut cookies.
Oh no, sir. We need our rest.
One a day keeps me going. I eat one of these a day. I'm good to go. That's all I need.
We gotta recuperate. We gotta get our minds right. We drink water too, but we gotta recuperate.
That's all I need.
We're entrepreneurs. We have permission to recuperate, versus when you work that W-2, you can't recuperate like that. You have to put in vacay time. So because I'm an entrepreneur, I make it my duty to make sure that I make time to recuperate from all the work that I do. When I work, I work.
All right. So while the youngster goes nighty night and everything goes and tucks herself into bed and everything and reads and hops on YouTube and plays a bedtime story for herself. If there's anybody else that got anything, I can hang up with y'all if you want.
I got Alexa. I don't need to. I got Alexa. She did read me a bedtime story too.
See? Mm-hmm. All right, party people. Well, I'm out. I've already printed my documents for tomorrow. I might just go ahead on and get them prepped, go through them, make sure there's no surprises, and all that good stuff. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. That Sheila G. Yeah. Now that stuff ain't no joke. That gives you some energy.
What is that?
It is a black tarry substance. You just put a little bit in some warm water. You talking about some energy, man? That stuff, yeah.
Oh, let me write that down because I drink coffee. So hold on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hold on.
Is it on Amazon?
Yeah, I'm gonna show y'all the one that I get. You don't want the peel formula or the powder because it's not as potent in the peel or the powder. But it is.
I do have one question before we leave. I was told that double tray printers are no longer available. Is that true?
No,
you got.
This is just what I heard.
Oh my bad. I just hate when people be saying information that's not, just don't sound a little suspect. But it's not that they're not available right now. It's just hard to find them, and that's really only because now everybody's working from home, and people are buying, like, literally setting up home offices in their house now. So it is hard to come by a printer in stores. It's not that it's not available. It's just hard to come by them now. Like some tips I say is going to Office Max every day, or at least go online every day and see when they're available. Or when you do go into the Office Max, ask when they have the restock. So ask them, when do the new printers come in and stuff. That's something you could do. So, and then shop around. Go Office Max, Staples, Office Depot. Sometimes you might gotta travel a little far. I noticed like I live in a smaller town, so to be honest, a lot of times like I don't have stuff. I don't have toner. I don't like for me to get toner, I have to travel about an hour to get it. But now what I started doing is like if I'm going out of town somewhere, like to hang out or whatever the case may be, I will always look at to see what that Office Max have on my app on the phone, and then if that Office Max have it, then I go get it. You know, while I'm on vacation. So that's like some tips you can do, but it's not that it's not available at all. It's just hard to come by.
And which brands do you recommend?
Me personally, I use HP. But you know what? I feel like with technology, it all goes back onto your learning curve as like, you know, how good you are with technology. Because you know, some people use PCs, some people use MacBooks. But if you don't know how to use a MacBook and you're not really good with computers, you know, a MacBook may not be for you.
No, it's not for me.
Oh.
And no, I have an option to work with a MacBook in the company that I'm with. And there's no way you will not be sending me a MacBook. You better send me my PC.
Oh, roger that. But you know, I always tell people to choose a printer that you feel like that will work for you.
She froze.
She fell asleep. That's all. Well, let me. You know, I've been to. Okay, let me put this out there for y'all. Hold on one second. And I should have put this out there sooner. I just kept forgetting. And everything. Oh, we thought you fell asleep.
No, that was you had went off too. Probably might have been my Wi-Fi. But
all right. Here's. Oh man. All right. Because I'm trying not to overwork myself here. For those of you who are interested in, if you're in a position to run your own website, put it together, contact me because I do website hosting, and domain name registration and all of that. And I will work with you and give you a good deal. You will have email, unlimited space. You will have all of the templates and tools that you need to get started. If you are in a position where you need somebody to do it for you, I am not in a position for as time wise to be able to do that. I can give some advice, but I can't stop and say, okay, let me build a website for you. So I'm putting my email address for my consulting business in there, and you can hit me up and we can talk and figure out how I can help, you know. But I know a lot of people go to GoDaddy and all of that. And there's nothing wrong with GoDaddy. But then they get stuck in all of that. So I'll be more than happy to help you out. I'll make it affordable, something doable for you and everything. And if you have somebody who can do it for you, but you just need a place to start and the tools, I can do all of that. I can get you set up. But if you're willing to get in there and do it yourself, it's not that difficult. Trust me, it really isn't. Let me know and I'll do everything I can to help and stuff. But I wanted to show y'all this real quick before we roll. This here is the Sheila Jeep. It's a thick black tar, and you just put a little bit of that into warm water, and oh, there you go. And it'll give you.
The review that says it's no taste. It's not a good taste to it.
I haven't had any problem with the taste. Now, some people don't like the taste.
You like my father. My father used to eat garlic, talking about, oh, it's so good. And I'm like, no, sir.
No, I don't mess with no. Yeah. So that's it. All right, party people. Well, y'all have a good one. Gonna bounce on out of here. If y'all need anything else, let me know. Let her know. Well, she gonna be sleeping about 2 seconds, so
I probably will be. You're right.
Mhm.
I'm my eyes are low. Tired.
I
I ain't had none of this. This might have me up
know.
all night.
Poor little babies.
All right, everybody, but good night.
All right, y'all have a good one now.
Q&A next month.
Yep.
Sweet dreams.
Y'all have a good one. Peace.